Okay, this is take 5. Like the songs, I do like that song. I'm a jazz guy. Anyway, what's going on, guys? This is Tim Bowser. Really quick intro of who I am. I am Tim Bowser from Edenton, North Carolina, U.S. Extremely country, 4 cornfields. I mean, just extremely country. Okay. Right now, living in Raleigh. Had a chance to go to Atlanta for a while, but now I'm back here in the Raleigh area. Somewhat near home. Edenton is extremely country. Atlanta was extremely city. It wasn't extremely city, but it was a lot of city. And Raleigh is like the perfect mixture in between. But so right here in Raleigh, give you a little bit of background on me. Once again, from Edenton, extremely country, extremely practical. You literally made with you literally did what you had to do. I mean, it was country. Duct tape and just shortcuts. You just learn stuff like that. So for me, that part of my life will always be a pivotal piece of who I am. Yet at the same time, I just turned 30 in May, and I literally remember at probably 1 year old, my dad playing with his first 386. And by 2, I'm entering directory codes, and it just literally took over my life. So from there, kind of flash forward to where I am now, I had a chance to make a choice between music and technology. Technology 1, went to school for computer science. I still have a lot of my certifications, but I never really renewed a lot of that stuff because I just didn't really care about that stuff. I wanted to be more on the front end side of it. Like the design side of it and being able to express my stuff that way. It's a lot less money in certain cases, but regardless, it's a happy life. So once again, I am one of your admins. My wife is also an admin as well, then we have 2 more, Robinson as well as Hassan. We all basically came from the Rovelight group. Rovelight was Genbase / Flashpoint's attempt to kind of mimic what the Pro Photo was doing as far as technology goes, but it was a failed attempt. So knowing that, we all had a really good feeling and really good sense of camaraderie there. And when the Goldix came out and a lot of us were talking about switching, I immediately came up with the idea, we got a Rovelight group, might as well make a Goldix group. And it's funny because even with the Rovelight group, I remember the first post in the Goldix group, I wound up going into the strobus.com page and finding a gentleman who had already purchased the Goldix, like one of the first ones that came out, and added him to the group. And it was like 7 of us at that point, and we were all asking him questions like, hey, can you do this? Can you try this? It was just funny because none of us had it. And then the Goldix group, the Goldix came out, and I think Cheetah at that point had their version, and then everybody started selling the different versions of the Goldix. And then it was rumored that that Adorama would sell their version via Flashpoint. Now, unlike everybody else, most people, I decided to wait. And I only specifically decided to wait because if something goes wrong with that light that I just paid $700 for, I don't want to be able to send it back and get a better version of something. So I paid for the 2-year service plan. And but I stress that on my end, I'm probably one of the few admins in a group this size that has no affiliations. I'm not selling anything like Tim Payne and Cheetah. I'm not I'm not an affiliate via any of the other programs like Adorama or Amazon. My whole intent of joining the group and making the group is just to bring together people who had questions. There's a lot of questions when this thing first came out, questions that I weren't able to answer because I didn't have one. And the people who did have questions, we all just kind of figured it out. I remember like when it was 7 of us, and now it is 3,000. It's over 3,000 members in this group. The fun thing is that I get a chance to see most of the people that I add, and once again there are 3 admins. If Hassan or Robertson adds them before I get a chance to, we all do screen them. But for the most part, I'm normally near my computer, so I'm adding most of the people who join the group. And there are some extremely amazing people who are in this group. Some of my big major milestone members, this is just me. Everybody has a personal preference. But when Dylan Patrick came over, I was like, yes, bring him over. And then from there, you had Dylan, you had Keedron, And then from there, we also had, Francisco and Manny, and you have all of these younger guys who are pretty much saying, hey, look, I'm just going to make some content and just have fun with it. And, a lot of them have branched out and started their own groups, for people who like more of the sharing aspect. But for the most part, this group is an extremely technical group. Now, with that being said, for those of you all who don't know me and don't know my philosophy and my style, let me go ahead and give you an idea. I very rarely try to kick people out. It's about 3 or 4 incidents. Please don't mention in the comment, but we all know who he is. It's like one incident in particular where this guy was just being a butthole, man. We had to let him go. But very rarely have I just completely kicked somebody out, unless it was just like, they did a lot of spammy posts and stuff like that. Then you gotta let them go. But for the most part, I do understand that we are all adults. We are all, for the most part, from what I've seen, I don't think I've added anybody that looked as if they were younger than 18. There might be somebody in here, and if you are, comment. But I don't think I've added anybody who looked as if they were younger than 18. So I just stress and say, for those of you all who are in the group, you're all adults. I don't have a lot of rules. We didn't have a big powwow about, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I think it's almost like a psychological thing where it's like, let's create an ecosystem together that doesn't have a lot of rules, that doesn't have a lot of governance, so that we all can just enjoy each other. We're all kind of on the same page, and we all enjoy the technology that's been presented in front of us. And I always stress to my students, this is a great time to be in photography because the technology is so amazing and so great. But I stress to people, as you enjoy this group, remember that the people that you interact with have lives outside of Facebook. They have lives outside of social media. And because they do, all I say is treat them with respect. You literally never know what people are going through. I know personally on my end, I've seen members, that I've become friends with, that have had, losses as recently as 2 or 3 weeks ago. You never know. They don't come into the group, with that. They just want to come talk about, whatever's going on, new technology, the different posts that people post up, like Doug's post on Beauty Dish, which kind of got a little crazy, but regardless, they just come in to have fun. There's a lot of very extremely technical people in here, and I've always stressed, this is just me saying this, and if you don't agree with it, I don't really care, but I feel like you truthfully have to be a geek to be really great at photography, because it is a very geeky thing, and I have no problem admitting I am. I mean, let's be honest, the video looks good, the audio sounds good, the lights look good. I'm a geek. I have no problem admitting it. Regardless, I do understand that sometimes you get to that moment where your blood starts boiling because somebody said somebody typed something that you might have disagreed with. And for you, I feel, and I stress it, if you get to the point where you're like, oh, you know what? I'm about to go in now. When you get that, you turn sideways and you get that angry type, well, just stop. I do websites and graphics full time. I have a wife. We don't have any kids, but even I have a life outside of here, and I don't want to read 45 to 100 posts of insults to try to figure out who said what, when, and why. I don't want to do that. I literally enjoy the energy that's in this group. I like to keep it positive. I understand sometimes it does get negative. But regardless, if it gets to that point, just chill. Or send me a message. Send me a message before it gets to that point. Don't send me a message when you're 100 posts in. But for those of you all who do send me messages when it gets to 100 posts in, I do appreciate at least knowing about it and trying to address it with the members that are there. Once again, I'm not like most admins where I'm going to immediately say, you know what, let's just get rid of everybody who's involved in this, because everybody who has joined this group, the regular people who post in this group, you give out a lot of pertinent information. And I feel like even if you had a bad day, or even if you said some weird, crazy stuff, if you are a great contributor to the group, cool. Last thing that I'm going to say, because it's 5:45 on my end, and my wife said that we wanted to go eat at 6, and I haven't even got dressed yet. You can see my shirt's still inside out. Last thing I want to address is there are a lot of extremely professional people in this group as well. And with that being said, I understand that once again, like me, people who come from the country where $700 for the TTO version of the Flashpoint Explorer is a lot. Some of my projects, I might make $3,000 to $4,000, but regardless, at that time, that $700 that I invested into that project was a lot. For me, it's rent. I'm in North Carolina, so for y'all who are in like New York paying like $2,000-$3,000, like Charles Fair, I'm sorry, but for us, it's like $700, and that's a lot. I understand you are very, very extremely prideful in your equipment. Just do know that there are flaws in everything. One of the things that I don't know if you noticed, I love business. I love business tactics, marketing, whatever. I don't know if you noticed, but because of our group, a lot of information was discussed about the extension when the extension first came out, and how the bag should have been modified, and certain things that could have been done better. And the crazy part is that per that discussion, even though only 1-2 companies were extremely present in that conversation, Cheetah Stand and Molite, even though they were extremely present in that particular conversation, other companies saw our conversations and made adjustments to their particular products. Flashpoint being the one where their new bag has the removable Velcro strap up top and the plastic, and then you're able to they move the handles higher and all of that. Like, these people are listening. They're they see these conversations. So I just want to stress that even though you are extremely prideful, do accept just a little bit of criticism in the fact that the lights aren't perfect. Now, with that being said, at the same time, vice versa, there are people who came a long way when it comes to equipment. Me personally, I remember having like a speed light. It's still around here somewhere, but it's a speed light. Mechanic guys, I'm gonna say speed light, and it had like one on and off button. That was it. There's nothing else on the back of it. To the point where I got a lot of equipment now. The strobes, the flash, the LED lights, etc. I am extremely prideful of my stuff, but I do understand for me that there are issues. There are issues that I've seen. There are problems that that a lot of us have seen, and I just say with those problems that are there, just respect both sides of the opinion. Once again, if you feel like you get to the point where your head turned to the side and you get ready to start angry typing, just don't. Don't let it get 20 posts in. I don't want to kick anybody out. That's not my goal. My goal is for all of us to enjoy each other. So anyway, with all of that being said, really, 3,000 members in, I really want you to enjoy this group. I really want to make it better. I don't want it to get gimmicky. I love the extremely technical conversations. I'm a technical guy, so I love the technical conversations that are a part of what we talk about, the part of the gear and the equipment and ideas. Just sometimes seeing just pictures and seeing the lenses that we're using. I'm not gonna get like Strobus where I require everybody to. We are not gonna get like Strobus where we require everybody to post your shutter and aperture and trigger, and if you don't post that you use a young new ultra trigger 603 version 2 Canon version in TX mode, I won't do that. I don't think that all of that's necessary. By all means, I appreciate it when you answer the question if I ask, but sometimes just seeing that information helps. Regardless, with all of this being said, 3,000 members in, like, really give yourself a pat on the back. Like, there's a lot of people who are extremely invested in this product. As we move from the Godix 8600 name to the actual Godix user group name, those people who are like me, I own the Godix. I own the manual, the TTL version of the Explorer. I'm looking at getting a manual version of the Explorer very soon, as well as getting. I want to get 2 QT600s. I think I said it right. QT600C. I don't know what Flashpoint's name is. And then from there, I own I own 2 of the Zoom lithium ions, which is the equivalent of the 860 with the battery, 860 version 2. And then, as you can see, probably from the light, I have the Godox SL100, something that we don't really talk about in the group, the LED side of it. I know they just recently announced the Godox 15150 SW, which is a 1500 watt equivalent LED. But stuff like that, man, I enjoy that side of it, and I want you all to enjoy it as well. Once again, pat on the back, 3,000 members in. Just enjoy. And if you have any questions, by all means, I do this full time. The website's graphics to photography is full time. I do a lot of other social media and consulting type stuff. So I'm normally near a computer. I might not always immediately answer, because there are some times where answering your issue is not really a priority to like this person who wants to get a website. But normally within a 24-hour time period, I say something. But you know, if 2 hours go by and it's 11 o'clock at night and I don't answer, you know, and I am 30, a young married man, you know, give me some time to like do the stuff that we do at night, you know, just stuff like that. Just be considerate of other people. So anyway, I just want to say once again, I appreciate everybody that's in here so far. I appreciate everybody who is going to come this way. Once again, just enjoy your equipment. You know, sometimes I would say you don't have to be extremely technical. If it works for you, it works for you. And just enjoy, man. Just have fun. Like, that's the whole purpose of this group, just to have fun. So anyway, that's enough. I'm at like 16 minutes, and I'm just, once again, just, if you have any questions, by all means message me. If you are here in the United States and you want to call me, by all means call me. If you are not in the United States and you want to call me, as long as I'm not being charged for it, by all means call me. I don't mind, just, if I'm charged for it, just let me know ahead of time. But once again, I appreciate you guys, man. So anyway, all right, thank you. I'm out. Peace.